Hello everyone and welcome back to Spinnin' Prog. Long time no see. I know a few months ago I came on, I was telling you all about how I moved to Canada and I'm going to get back into YouTube now and everything, but that was honestly the last thing on my mind. Moving to the other side of the world is a big deal and there's a lot to it. So I have dealt with all that stuff and I'm ready now to go into the new year and go full on into YouTube again. I've missed connecting with you all and having the chats, having the crack in the comments. So we're going to get back into it and I'm going to start as we mean to go on now. I have Cody here with me, of course.
Happy New Year, folks.
My rock. And he's going to be in a lot of videos with me from now on. So yeah, look. Today we wanted to do the top 10 OPETH songs. So 5 months ago we did a Sunday prog stream over on the Prog Corner where we did the top 10 songs. But since then we've seen OPETH in concert and they've brought out a new album. So, you know, my list has changed a good bit since that Prog Corner stream.
Mine too.
We've been listening to OPETH so much in the last few months. And you know, when you're reminded of songs you haven't heard in ages or whatever, like, you know, that's what happened. And of course the concert was had a big hand in my list here today because I suppose hearing the stuff live in front of me was very impressionable. So
totally.
Yeah, so I'm going to get Cody to start off. We're going to take turns here.
All right. Well, we're going to start off with a song that they did do live. A lot of the songs on my list here they did do live. Of course, there's a couple that they did not. But we're such OPETH fans. We listen to OPETH probably nearly every day.
Yeah.
Like, we really do, if you think about it. Like, look, I'm sure when we go on my Apple Music that OPETH is going to be the most played member or band of December.
I think the concert was so good and so mind-blowing that it just brought them from here up here in my books, like, so I've been listening to them a lot, and yeah.
So this is not a ranking of any sort, but more or less a guide into just stuff that we really like, and you might relate to it, and even if you're looking to get into the band yourself, you might latch on to some of these tunes, or all of them, and decide to go check out an album. So that's a great way to sort of get your foot in the door, as we are, you know, fans of quite a few years. And so I'm going to start off with Ghost of Predition from Ghost Reveries. This is the deluxe CD DVD combo pack. You open it up. This is the regular cover when you get the single CD edition.
That's also my first pick, so I'll just hold up the vinyl here beside me.
And we didn't converse about this. We should just put that out there. We did not talk about this. But this whole album is great. But Ghost of Perdition, it's a 10-minute epic track, and the way it goes from brutally, crushingly heavy to the nice somber melodies, and then just these awesome, you know, double kick things, especially from a drummer's standpoint. It's pretty awesome. Martin Lopez for the win. This would be his last record with the band, 2005, 20 years ago now. Oh my god. But Ghost of Perdition for me.
Yeah.
Brilliant track.
It's one of those tracks where it's like being on a roller coaster. You don't know what's going to happen next. You're going to end up going down, going up, going left, going right, like being jolted around the place. Like, it's absolutely, it's just such an experience to listen to. Absolutely. And so fun. Like, you know, you're just, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Michael Ackerfeld's ability to growl is one of the most impressive growls I've ever heard. Yeah. He just does it so proper, and all my vinyl just fell over.
That's okay.
Yeah, his melodies are just beautiful in it as well, and we just want to, like, say to anyone that might be a bit daunted by the growls. I know a lot of people call them Cookie Monster vocals, and they're like, oh, I hate those Cookie Monster vocals.
I hate that terminology.
That just ruins everything for me. The way OPETH do it, it's used to complement the music and to go along with the concept, and the characteristics of the growls in their music is a lot different to something like death metal or whatever. So try and give it another think and go back into it with a clearer mind around it. Because you are going to miss out on a lot if you're just going to say, I can't listen to anything with growls in it. Trust me. it is fantastic once you get over that mindset.
Right on. Is the next pick mine? I guess it is.
It is indeed, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to a record that Tara and I listen to a lot. This album is called Damnation. And there's going to be a couple of tracks from this that I'm going to mention here today. But this one I'm going to mention right now is In My Time of Need. It's an absolutely brilliant, fantastic track. And we saw them
more on that later.
And we saw them play this one live as well. And it was really awesome getting to hear that Mellotron. Like the keyboardist actually had an actual full-on, well, like a modern-day Mellotron, not one of those big ones that they carted around in the 70s. But he had a Mellotron up on stage, set it right on the back of the keyboard, and when he would hit some of those chords, the whole place just... We were enveloped in this brilliant, brilliant sound of the Mellotron. I'm a big Mellotron fan, and Michael's lyrics and melodies in that song are just absolutely stunning. And the whole album is that way. But that was In My Time of Need. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. What do we got? What do you got next?
I have Eternal Rains Will Come from Pale Communion. Absolutely awesome song. Really harks back to the prog from the 70s.
Totally.
Using that Hammond organ sound and little odd riffs and key changes, like subtle key changes and stuff like that. Really, really fantastic tune. Another one where you got to see them play live. So, my list is definitely influenced by that big time as well. Yeah, this album is fantastic. This is like their little kind of jazz fusion-y album.
Yeah.
And it's any prog lovers, I cannot recommend enough going and checking out Pale Communion. You will 100% you'll love it. If you're not familiar with the band or with their discography, Pale Communion, 100%.
And more on this right now, actually. Because, if you're not sold on the growl side of things as much as you should be, we love all sides of OPETH because there's something brilliant in all of the discography for everyone. But there's no growls on this album, just like there's not on Damnation either. And this is from a period where they weren't doing the growls at all. This is very proggy. This is a lot of it borrows, but at the same time not being derivative. It borrows from that 70s Canterbury prog scene. Really great. But my next pick is also Eternal Rains Will Come.
Yay!
For everything that she said, and the vocal harmonies and things like that are just fantastic. The grooves, Martin Axelrod on drums, fantastic. Most of their drummers have been named Martin. Martin Lopez, Martin Axelrod, and now Walter something on the new record. But no, this album's fantastic. And yeah, I pick Eternal Rains Will Come too. The first time I heard this, it just pretty much blew my mind. I had to go out and get the CD, which I do have.
Yeah.
But yeah, great stuff. Fantastic album.
Yeah. My next one now is going a bit more into the heavier realm. This is Watershed, and I've picked The Lotus Eater from this one. Absolutely fantastic album. I've no idea what that was.
Eating a lotus.
Pretend that didn't happen. There's a fella on the back of it that looks absolutely mental. Yeah, great album, heavy enough, so I wouldn't recommend it as an entry point for people getting into the band that might be a little bit like, oh, I don't like growls or heavy music or whatever. Yeah, what can you say? It's just fantastic.
I think that's
really, really good.
That's a barn burner.
Yeah, and it's just the way they do the metal. It's so different to what you might expect. People hear the word metal and they just go, oh, I don't know, I don't know about that now.
They think early Bring Me the Horizon, and that's
yeah.
That's what all metal must sound like, right?
They really are the pinnacle of progressive metal, and this album shows that big time. So yeah, The Lotus Eater, fantastic tune.
Yeah, more on that album in a short while. Next up for me is a record that was kind of divisive among people, apparently when it first came out. It's this came out in 2011, and this was the first... it wasn't the first album without any growls on it, but it marked a change in direction for the band for a couple of albums. Of course, the Growls are back now on the Last Will and Testament, but for about 3 or 4 albums there in the 2010s, there wasn't any. And that kind of started with this. And I loved this record. While it was a change in direction for the band, it also got them a lot of new fans at the same time. And so they always knew what to do and what was right for their sound. And for the most part, people stuck with them anyway, because they're an amazing band, and every release has something intricate and interesting about it. My pick here is The Devil's Orchard. It's a fantastic... yeah, fantastic drumming, fantastic musicianship here. The riffs are awesome. But so many songs. The Devil's Orchard, I Feel the Dark, Folklore. The whole thing is just really fantastic. We might have to give this one a spin today. But yeah, Devil's Orchard, I seem to be coming back to that one a lot. You could even ask her. I'm constantly putting that one on. The cover's beautiful. It's really intricate. Very nice. You get all the faces of the guys in the band up in the tree. But yeah, I love this song. The Devil's Orchard. Fantastic. Opeth. Boom. Heritage.
Okay. I have to rob one out of this now for my next pick. So...
This is a really cool set. It's got Blackwater Park, Deliverance, Damnation, and that live one. I got this in Quebec City about 2 years ago, and it was awesome.
So my next pick is Deliverance, the actual title track off this album. It's one of the first Opeth songs I ever heard. I think I was a teenager or something, and I was really into metal at the time, but I was like in between prog and metal, and when I heard this, I was just blown away. I was like, I've never heard anything like this before. This is so different to what I'm used to hearing, and it just pulled me straight in. That was it. Like, I loved Opeth from the minute I heard this tune. Heavy, again, very heavy, but so odd. The riffs that they do in this are strange, really unusual. There's like a drum riff near the end of it that I've never heard done since. Like, I've never heard anything like it. It's so odd.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. It's crazy, like but it's real catchy, and it's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Can't recommend this one enough. I really can't.
Do you remember when you and I were in the drum room and I was changing all the heads on the drums and I started just playing that groove?
Just starts banging out that groove, no bother, like. Jesus.
And we saw them play that live too. That was the end of the show, the song Deliverance, if you remember that.
No, I don't remember that.
That was the very last song that they played, and it was awesome. I remember there was guys crowd surfing.
Oh, and, yes. Yeah, I do remember, actually. Yeah,
Michael was looking at them like, what the hell's wrong with you guys?
That was awesome. Yeah.
Oh.
People crowd surfing, you'd be like waiting to get kicked in the back of the head or something. Like, I can't stand that. I really can't.
So, for me, that's a great choice. That whole album's great. And to me, we're actually going to go back to the first CD I ever bought of Opeth a long time ago. It's the Sorceress album. And one song I love so much from this, I love this record actually. There's not any records of theirs that I don't like. Even this, I gave this a spin. I'm like, oh, this is good, like the Orchid. But this is from the mid-2010s. It's from 2016. And it's the song Sorceress. Dun 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 dun.
Just go and listen to the song. Don't take what he does here, alright?
It's a riff sandwich, that song. It really is, and the keyboard work at the beginning of that, it sets you up for something, and then the riff comes in, it's like, whoa, okay, we're like this left turn.
Again, you just don't know what's going to happen next when you're listening to an Opeth tune.
The melodies and lyrics in the song, just fantastic, and the band just sounding great. The production is very heavy on the low end on this album, but it doesn't take anything away from it. It's still a fantastic record, and so my pick is the title track, Sorceress.
Okay, my next one is one that you've already said, but I have to give it a little moment too. In My Time of Need from Damnation. Absolutely gorgeous song. Came to me at a time in life when I did need it. The the lyrics just resonated with me so deeply. That part at the start where he says, I can't see the meaning of this life I'm leading. I try to forget you as you forgot me. This time there is nothing left for you to take. This is goodbye. Absolutely beautiful. And getting to sing along with Michael Ackerfeld right in front of us at the concert was the most spiritual experience ever. It literally felt like I was just ascending into heaven when the Mellotron came in, and it's just gorgeous. And for anyone that isn't familiar with the band but is very kind of on the edge about the growls and stuff, this is your entry point right here, because there's no growls on this one. It's dripping in Mellotron. It's very proggy. It's very meaningful. The lyricism in this is beautiful. Of course, Stephen Wilson, he produced it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or engineered it or something, but he had a big hand in what was put on the album as well. Like, you know, and yeah, it's fantastic. I really, this album has a special place in my heart, 100%.
Mine too. We've been listening to it a lot, and yeah, I like it a lot too. That's a beautiful song, and I have another one coming up from that album in a little while. But my next mention here, and none of these, it's not really any order.
Yeah.
Like any one of these could be like the number one.
Yeah.
But since our little time on the Prog Corner a couple months back, OPETH have put a brand new record out called The Last Will and Testament. The album tells the story of a father who's passed away, and a bunch of family lies and things come out. And so while it's said that he has 3 kids, only one of them was biological, because the mother actually cheated on him. And so basically the only one in his will that gets anything is the one biological daughter of his who has polio. And it's a very dark story, but it's very intricate, and the way it's all set up is just brilliant. Ian Anderson narrates a lot of the album, and he plays flute on certain tracks as well. So for all you Jethro Tull fans out there, I know you're out there. But they brought back the growls with this, with good reason too, to sort of accent the anger in the fallen father's voice throughout the concept of this. And it's this perfect marriage of everything that you've ever liked about OPETH before and now. And it's all here on this one record. And the song I'm mentioning for you today is the song that closes out the album, A Story Never Told. So the album is set up in sections, or paragraphs, right? So it's paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, just like an actual will would be. And the last song is the only one with a proper name. So A Story Never Told, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's only about 6 minutes. It's not a long song. And that wonderful guitar solo from Frederick Eckerson just totally sends me to another plane. It is like David Gilmour would listen to that and go, wow, I wish I wrote that.
Yeah.
That's one of those things.
Yeah, he really pulled it out here.
So that's my pick from this album. It absolutely just F's me up. It fecks me up, as the Irish would say, because that's not a swear word, people.
Yeah, we're allowed to say that.
It fecks me up every time I hear it, and it will for you too, I'm sure. Talk about chills. Oh my gosh, A Story Never Told from the brand new OPETH record, just out like about a month ago, around 2 months. Yeah, awesome.
Can I have Heritage, please? Because my next pick is The Devil's Orchard. Yeah, absolutely fantastic tune. First time I heard it, I was just blown away when I heard him going, God is dead. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Fantastic album. Dead. It's really, really proggy. And for some reason, it got a bad rap when it came out. And I don't understand why. Like, Michael even said at the concert we went to that this wasn't a very popular album, and still isn't. And I don't get that at all, because it's absolutely fantastic. People just need to give it a chance. Like, sit down and listen to it properly. You know, I hate that when people have a certain expectation from a band, and if they decide to try something different, they're just like, no, done, don't want to hear it.
Oh, I know.
Like,
look at Metallica fans.
It happens all the time with loads of bands, like, but yeah, it shouldn't have happened with this, because this is a fantastic album, and that tune, The Devil's Orchard, if you've never heard it, go look it up and listen to it when you're finished watching this video, because it's brilliant.
Listen to it back to back with I Feel the Dark. Like, just, you know what? Just go listen to the whole album.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, it is brilliant. What's my next choice? Okay, yes, we're going very, very heavy Opeth. This song is kind of like Michael Ackerfeld was driving a tractor and just crushed you with it when you listen to it. It's a bone-crushing tune. It is Heir Apparent from the Watershed album. First time I heard this, I came up and I was like, I think that I've possibly just heard like the heaviest Opeth song ever. It is, but they've got so many, right? They really do, and this is just like one of like the pinnacle heavy Opeth tracks. And we saw them play it live, and it was just unreal to see that. Just blown away by it. It's just fantastic. The riffs, it's riff salad.
Yeah.
And it's totally, it's legendary, it's bombastic, it's just massive, it's heavy, it's crushing, it's nasty, but it's beautiful and it's perfect and wonderful. Heir Apparent from the Watershed album. Nasty tune, I love it.
I hate when you're holding that and I can see your man's face looking at me. It's like seeing one of my uncles when I was a child after a load of whiskey.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, my next pick is from the new album, The Last Will and Testament. And
what you got?
I chose Paragraph 1 because it had a huge impression on me. I was waiting and I had very high anticipation around this new album. I was really excited about it. And this was the first single they released. And I didn't know what to expect because I was seeing interviews where they were saying they're bringing back the growls and they're going back to the heavy influences. And I was going, oh Jesus, like what's this going to sound like? I did not expect this at all. It's absolutely mad. The grooves in it are class. The growls, like I said, complement the concept so well. It was done really tastefully.
I remember when that single came out and I came up to you in the room and I put it on. I was like, listen to this!
Yeah, it was just like mind-blowing hearing it. I love it. It's brilliant. And yeah, the whole concept to have come up with something so intricate is just genius. Pure genius. It's fantastic. Ian Anderson being on it, of course, is always a fun surprise. He kind of plays the father. Like he's meant to be the voice of the father when... Or is he the father or is he the solicitor?
He would be the solicitor.
Will. Yeah, he reads the will.
Michael is the father because
yeah. So the father is horrible. Like it's a horrible story. Actually, it's really horrible, but it's
very creative.
Fantastically done with the music. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so Paragraph 1 was my pick because it had such a big impression on me when I heard it first, and I was just like, oh my god, give me the rest of this album right now. So waiting
like
for it to come out was just like, oh, please hurry. But yeah, it is. It's got all sorts of influences in there. It's mental. I'd love to know what the writing process was like bit by bit, like, because it's just mad.
It is like jazz metal. It's like a jazz metal album. It really, you know. I'm going to pull it, because I pulled out the CD once already for this one. I'm going to pull out the vinyl now, because you've already pulled out the record here. I'm going to go for the opening track on Damnation. This is from 2003, this record. This, like, we were talking about this album a little bit ago. This was the first one that they ever did without any growls, and it was met with great acclaim among the fan base, and still is to this day.
Yeah.
Lots of people love this record, and rightfully so. It's fantastic. I already mentioned In My Time of Need, so we're going to talk about the opening track, Window Pane. The first time I would have heard this song would have been on that Live at the Roundhouse album. And that album was a great thing when I was getting properly into Opeth, going and listening to that. It's like, oh, okay, like,
yeah,
you know, because it has a lot of their different styles on it, you know. But this album is just fantastic. So hearing that, then going back at one point and going to listen to this record all the way, it's a fantastic album. It really is.
It is.
And we've been obsessed with it the last couple of months since we've been together.
Obsessed with all their albums in the last few months.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we've listened to most of them together. We have. But Window Pane, just an absolutely beautiful song. And the drumming is really nice in this song. it's a very dry drum sound, but it's very in your face, and it's a very calming album.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, it's very sad. The lyrics in it are really, but that's very helpful sometimes as well. It helps you feel kind of seen and puts into words your own feelings, helps you process it, like.
Totally. And the drumming on Window Pane, it's not even that it's... Well, there's a lot of intricacies to it, because there's a lot of time changes. It goes from 7 to 4 and this and that. But I love what he does with the ride cymbal in that song. For some reason, it just stands out. And how clear the ride cymbal is in the mix. The mix is great. And, Martin Lopez, my gosh. Opeth from the Damnation record, Window Pane.
Alright, and my next pick is another one you've already mentioned.
Uh-oh.
Sorceress, the title track. Absolutely brilliant song. He's already pretty much said what there is to be said, but roller coaster tune, you don't know what's going to happen next. You're led into a false sense of security at the start with this really odd organ sound, and then bang, the drums, the heavy guitar comes in. Absolutely fantastic.
That's a picture disc.
Sorry, can I talk about my pick, please? Yeah, brilliant tune. They came out and did it as like an encore at the gig, and it was just like, oh my god, I wasn't expecting this one to be pulled out. Absolutely great, and beautiful cover as well. Gorgeous. Look at all the guts there at the bottom. Isn't that lovely? That
cover is on the actual vinyl too.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice. I tried to show you all the picture disc,
but I was trying to speak. Your turn.
Okay, so the next one for me is going back to, well, the last two that I have are from the same album. I love you.
I love you too.
Don't I have the best girlfriend ever? I totally do. Look at her. She's beautiful. Like, oh. So, the last two, can I just do the last two in one shot? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, look, I'll hold up the vinyl because my next pick is the title track.
Okay, well, just so happens that might get mentioned from me too. But, Blackwater Park. So, I love how the vinyl is actually a different cover than what's on the CD. Mm-hmm. But the great album, and so my number 2 pick here is The Drapery Falls. It's one that I've been very obsessed with, just listen to over and over again. Another 9.5 minute epic. Every time we're driving home from a concert on the 403, we put that on, and we'd hit the same spot every time that song is on, if you've noticed that.
No, I haven't.
Remember I said to you last time we come home from a concert, it's like, doesn't it seem like we listen to this song on this road a lot? But anyway, just a small bit of personal information there. The Drapery Falls, what a brilliant track. It's heavy, but it goes to these acoustic elements and these beautiful crushing. He's driving the tractor again, but then he's sitting up on a camp. You know what I'm saying?
Michael, get off that tractor.
No, stay on it, man. Stay on it. I love you in the tractor, but I also love you sitting out at the campfire too, with the acoustic guitar playing these dark, haunting melodies. So, The Drapery Falls, and of course, number 1 for me is the title track, Blackwater Park. It comes in with this sort of dissonant, heavy riff for the first 2 minutes of the song or whatever, and then it drops out, and it's just the acoustic guitars going do 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 do, and then it comes back in with the heavy guitars, and Michael just goes like every time I hear that, it's like yeah, like and then the vocals come in real heavy for a while, and then it drops out again into acoustic sort of nylon string guitar, sort of Steve Howeville for a while.
Yeah.
For all the Yes fans, it totally feels like a Steve Howe bit in the middle of their it's like their Mood for a Day fitting in with their epic Blackwater Park piece.
Yeah.
And then the electric guitar comes back in, and Michael comes back in with the.
It's absolutely fantastic. It really is. It just goes everywhere.
It does. She's right.
It's one of their big epics. Absolutely. Despite the metal growly parts, I can tell you now you will enjoy it.
And the double kick drums, Martin Lopez just showing off what he can really do at the end of this song here, and it's perfect for a night drive, especially when you're driving down a road with the trees. It kind of looks like this. just middle of the night, cranking that up full blast in the car. Oh, can't beat it, man. I've done it. Can't beat it.
The song you hear before you die, Blackwater Park. Alright, well, my last pick then is from Still Life, and I've chosen Face of Melinda. Absolutely fantastic tune. This album is the one where they start to find their feet a little bit more. So you had Orchid and My Arms Your Hearse beforehand, and they're heavy, they're a little bit muddy, I find, but they're not bad, they're still fantastic, but they kind of started to find themselves a little bit more on Still Life, and Face of Melinda is an absolutely brilliant tune.
That's an awesome album.
Yeah, and again, it's very heavy, but it's brilliant. And it's done so well, like everything else that they do, pretty much. They just know how to do things right.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so that was our OPETH video, our top 10 picks, which could change tomorrow.
Yeah, it could.
Because their discography is fantastic. Once you start to get into them, you just can't stop. You're just
totally.
It's just constant. They have such a unique sound. They're just such an odd band, and to see such a modern band as well. I mean, I know they've been around for a long time, but they're only really starting to get the recognition they deserve now, which is great. Keep going, keep giving them all the love, they deserve it, and I cannot wait to see what they do next.
I think Windowpane just recently hit 20 million streams on Spotify or something like that.
Yeah, they had that up on their Facebook, and that was great to see. It's a gorgeous tune.
That's absolutely a proud moment.
Yeah. So, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back again soon. We don't really have a plan for videos, what kind of stuff we're going to do. We're just going to take it as it comes and kind of freestyle it. And I can't wait, and I am really looking forward to talking to you all in the comments again. And yeah, thank you so much, and goodbye.
Happy New Year, folks.
Happy New Year.